Hi everybody, welcome to my channel. My name is Ebitini, and like I said in my introduction video, I live in Melbourne, Australia. I am originally from Nigeria and I make videos about life in Australia as a Nigerian immigrant. If this sounds like something you'll be interested in, please click the subscribe button, like this video and share to others that you think might be interested. Today's video is about my migration story. Yeah, it's a pretty interesting one and I know you would want to hear everything about it. If this is something you're interested in, keep on watching. So, I've lived in Australia for about 8 years now. Yeah, I migrated from Nigeria with my husband and my children. Yeah, so today's video is about how the process was like migrating, what the experience was when we first got here, and everything as much as I can remember. I'll be giving you guys the tea. So, why did we leave Nigeria? Why did we decide to relocate? And why did we choose Australia? There are numerous reasons why we left Nigeria, one of which was insecurity. Yeah, we had some really bad experiences, which I will not really go into details about. Maybe in future I might do a story time about that, but where we lived at the time wasn't very safe. Yeah, we had a lot of robbery scares. We couldn't really sleep comfortably at night without feeling like what would happen tonight and all of those things. So those issues were there. And then looking at the way Nigeria was going at the time, which is evident now, the uncertainties and the decline in the economy, everything added together, I was like, maybe it's a good time. And then at my husband's job at the time, he was working in telecoms, and at the time he wasn't finding fulfillment with his job anymore. So he was like, okay, if the opportunity presents itself, we'll take it and we'll leave. So that was what happened with us. And then we made up our minds to leave. Another reason we chose to migrate was that we wanted to increase our opportunities in life. You know, we wanted a situation where, of course, we would not just have a Nigerian passport, a more valuable passport. I think we wanted that. And we also wanted more exposure for our children and also provide them more opportunities that we didn't have growing up. So that was another reason why we chose to relocate. One other reason we chose to relocate was access to better health care. Yes, I know, well, I'm not sure I mentioned, but I am a Christian. I believe in Jesus and I trust and know that there is divine healing and there is divine health. And I know that healing and health comes from God, not from any country. So that out of the way, we wanted a situation where we'll have access to better health care if we needed it for ourselves, not just for ourselves, but for our children as well. So that was another reason why we chose to make the move, even though it wasn't very easy, I must say. It wasn't an easy decision to make, but we did regardless. Now, we wanted a situation, a country, an economy that works, a society that works, a society that you can predict your outcome. You know that if you work for a number of years, if you put in this amount of work, this is what the result will be. Like, you are sure of it, at least to an extent. We wanted that kind of environment for ourselves and for our children. So basically, those were the things we considered before we left Nigeria. So why did we choose Australia? Oh, Australia. Growing up in Nigeria, you don't really get to hear much about Australia, or at least I didn't. I didn't really hear much about Australia. The first introduction I had to Australia was Hillsong music. Growing up, I grew up on Darlene Sheck's music, so it was something that I was fascinated about. I love Hillsong music so much. So, That was my first introduction to Australia. So when this opportunity came, my husband's friend who had relocated, right, he got a job, made us see that it was actually a possibility, and that was when we considered going through with the process. So one of the reasons why we chose Australia was because we knew someone here. At least we knew one person here, so that was good enough for us. Another reason we decided to go with Australia was because of the weather. Australian weather is tolerable. Look, I haven't been to Canada anyways, but the things we hear about Canadian weather and all of that, I just felt like Australia seems like a weather that is closer to the Nigerian weather. So I believe it's a place that will not be too difficult to integrate into, and that's what I'm experiencing so far. We also decided to go with Australia because the pathway to becoming a permanent resident and a citizen was pretty straightforward. You knew what you needed to do, and you do those things, and you meet the criteria, and then you get it. So it wasn't there was no uncertainty with with the things, or it wasn't a decision that was left to one individual to make, which could be prejudiced a bit. But it was more of do what you need to do, follow the process, and then you get your permanent residency. That was how it worked for us. Unlike now that it's like getting your permanent residence for people who are trying to migrate at this point is like the camel passing through the eye of a needle. To be honest, I just hope that anyone desiring to relocate will just listen out for any opportunity and key in immediately, because things really change rapidly around here. I would like to add that one thing that was a bit discouraging when we were trying to make this decision to relocate is the distance. Growing up in Nigeria, we keep hearing that Australia is the end of the world, and it just seemed like it at the time because we're like, how do you travel for 22 hours to get somewhere, you know? So for me, that was like one thing that was really discouraging, the distance from Nigeria to Australia. Preparing for our application, my husband had to write a career episode which is submitted to the engineering body in Australia, which is the Engineers Australia. He did all of that, wrote his IELTS exams, aced it, and then I also had to write my IELTS exam, which I did, and yeah, I had good grades, thankfully. Then we submitted our application, did our medicals, did all those other requirements. I am not a migration agent, so I have no knowledge in that regard. Yeah, but if it's something anyone is really interested in, if I can arrange to get a licensed migration agent to come, and we'll just have maybe a live show where people can ask all their questions. If that's something you like, please let me know in the comment section so that I can start working on that. So now we'll move on to the journey, the actual journey, making the journey to Australia. Yeah, my husband came first to Australia while we were in Nigeria. We were apart for about 6 weeks, and then we came to join him here. The most difficult part about leaving Nigeria for me was the fact that I have all my family members in Nigeria. So it was really hard leaving everyone and coming down here. But thankfully, I was coming with my husband and my children, which was good. But I still miss my family so, so much, even till this day. I miss them. I was wondering if they would have my favorites here, the gari, soup, ingredients, and all of those things. Yeah, that was a major concern for me. I'm not even gonna lie. Another thing that I considered was, the uncertainty. It's like you're going into the unknown, you know. That's why I believe till tomorrow it was a faith decision for us. We had to take that leap of faith and we moved with it, and thankfully we did. Another thing that was a struggle for me was that I had just started my fashion business at the time in Nigeria and it was beginning to pick up. So I was like, so I have to leave everything, move to a different country and continent and start all over again. Those were some thoughts that were a bit challenging for me to deal with. One of the most difficult parts of relocating was the entire process of packing up your stuff, selling the things you need to sell, giving out the things you need to, just that whole process, packing up, sorting out the things you need to travel with, the ones you're discarding. For me, it was daunting and I didn't enjoy that process at all. I didn't. So, on to the journey to Australia. It was a very eventful journey, I must say. We flew from Port Harcourt to Lagos a day prior and we stayed somewhere close to the airport, right? Because our flight was the next morning for 9:45 a.m. thereabout. We made sure to get to the airport by 6 a.m. on that day. We were on the queue waiting for immigration clearance and all that jazz. And from 6 a.m. to 9 a.m., we were in one spot without any explanation and no. Finally, we were made to believe that the flight for that morning was already full because the night before a flight was cancelled. We were not informed, nothing. Nobody told us anything, and I don't live in Lagos, remember. I have two toddlers with me. Now, you can imagine I had packed my hand luggage in readiness for my trip, packed their cereal, their milk, everything I needed to ensure they are comfortable. My daughter was still using diaper. I had packed just the number of diapers I need. All those things mothers will do, to ensure you have a safe flight. And of course, my children had very Nigerian taste buds, so you wouldn't depend on the food on the plane, to feed your children. So I had all those things sorted, right? I had their snacks and everything. Only to arrive at the airport and we weren't going to fly. And I was confused because we had checked in our bags. I think I cried. I can't even remember, but I believe I cried because I just didn't know what to do. And then, thankfully, we were lodged in a hotel and the flight was moved to evening. So, imagine the rush. I was grabbing bags, grabbing my children because they shuttled us from the airport to the hotel. It wasn't just us, we're a lot of people. And of course, Nigerians don't care whether you have a child or you have people, they don't care. Like, you're a woman, even if you're pregnant, nobody really cares. That was how we ran. We got into the bus and then got to the hotel. They gave us a room. Immediately we got in, I changed them, cleaned them up, just went in to start looking for things, what I could buy, just to cushion the effect of this delay. And then I did all that, went back in the evening, got on the bus, went back in the evening, and then went through immigration. That was how we left Nigeria. We were transiting from Abu Dhabi. We got to Abu Dhabi. The struggle continued. Meanwhile, I had carried wrapper. I carried wrapper. I said I was going to back, at least let me back one person. I'll back my daughter and then hold two bags on one hand and then be pulling my son on the other hand. So that was how I did it. I got there, got to Abu Dhabi immediately. I did not tell me because I asked every person that could speak English where the direction. I showed them my boarding pass and showed them I needed to connect because we had missed the flight, our original flight from Nigeria. They had to connect us. We had to get another connecting flight. And that was how, yeah, I had to ask questions. We moved really swiftly and then we finally got on our connecting flight. And then we arrived Sydney. We arrived Sydney Airport into the waiting arms of my husband. I wish it was that easy, simple. It wasn't. We arrived Sydney Airport and then I lost my son.